Welcome back. Today I'm going to present you a 2022 American vampire film titled Dayshift. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Bud Jablonski is a pool cleaner with a noteworthy side job as a vampire hunter. At a residence where he possibly gets hired to clean the pool, he kills a young male and a more experienced female vampire, collecting their teeth because they are highly valuable. Audrey San Fernando, who is also shown to be a vampire and claims to have enormous plans with the Los Angeles region and its vampire population, is seen torturing a lower-level criminal vampire named Sasha. She was revealed to be a wealthy and powerful landhead honcho by the camera dish to a sign by an improvement project. When Bud returns to his condo, he discovers that he is in financial trouble because his lease is past due. After cleaning up, he picks up Paige from school. They actually still live apart, despite the fact that he is still legally married to her mother Jocelyn. Paige is taken to a frozen yogurt shop by Bud, who then returns her late. Jocelyn learns that Paige is traveling with her to her mother's house in Florida. Bud, who is distraught at the thought of losing his beloved, begs her for one more day until Monday. He believes that selling his recently harvested vampire teeth will bring in about $10,000, which will cover Paige's support and other expenses. Jocelyn is very skeptical that he will faithfully follow his word, but she gives him a chance because his lies in the past were the reason she and Bud went in a different route. Bud goes to Troy, a shady pawn shop. Troy only offers him a tiny fraction of what Bud thinks he can get for the teeth at the Union, the vampire hunting organization from which it is revealed Bud was expelled. Bud texts his good friend Big John Elliott in the hopes that he can get him in because he needs the money by Monday. In case her colleague backs out of their agreement, Audrey puts him in jeopardy of experiencing a fate similar to Sasha's. She also discovers that she possesses an item that allows vampires to walk in sunlight. She and her colleague Klaus go to the house where Bud killed the two vampires. It is revealed that the elderly vampire was dear to her heart, and she vows to take revenge on whoever killed her. Big John meets Bud outside the Union, and they meet with Ralph Seeger, the curmudgeonly chief who refuses to let Bud back in due to his previous code violations. After much persuasion, Seeger agrees to let Bud work the day shift, which is considered inferior to the much more productive and risky night shift. Bud and Big John make their way down the stairs to the monetary office to get the payment for Bud's teeth. Clerk Seth initially provides him an appealing expense, but after keeping a few charges, reduces it to a simple division. Seth is told by Seeger to collaborate with Bud and report any code violations he commits while trying to get him out, since he needs to be elevated to his primary HIMS status. Seth reluctantly agrees. Seth presents a lot of potential vampire information, leaving Bud amazed but with little desire to show it. In the meantime, Audrey goes to terrify Troy and ends up killing him. On their most memorable mission, Seth is advised by Bud to stay in the truck, but he receives a call from Seeger, who instructs him to go inside and confirm any code violations. Seth wets himself and retches outside the truck after being shocked by the vampire butcher. Bud, who is developing a soft spot for Seth, drives him home. Following his recovery, Bud meets and invites Heather, another inhabitant in his structure who claims to be a medical carer. Bud discovers the next day that Seth has been keeping in touch with him for a few code violations. They enter Troy's pawn store and discover him dead, with all of his teeth extracted and lying on the work area. Bud then reveals that he needs the money to support his family. Seth swears he will not report to Seeger. Bud and Seth's next task takes them to the Nazarian siblings, famous trackers who pretend to be sound system repairmen. They clear out a vampire home together, and the previously hidden object is revealed to be a vampire sunscreen, allowing them to be out in the sun for 15 to 20 minutes. Seth notices that the house has a few different types of vampires who will never choose to live together. Bud agrees he has a point, but he needs to get Paige from school. Bud, feeling uneasy, inquires whether she would like to stay in when they return. Jocelyn informs him that she has been looking forward to attending a birthday party for a week and that he must accompany her. He reluctantly agrees. Bud receives a call from Audrey at the party, and she proceeds to kidnap his significant other and daughter. He hits Paige in the car as quickly as possible and is immediately pursued by Audrey's thugs. He slits one of their necks in the parking lot and participates in an adrenaline-pumping automobile pursuit, while Paige plays with her iPad in the backseat. Bud is trapped by Audrey and her hooligans just as he returns Paige to Jocelyn. He reveals his mystery to his better half and small kid, informing them that he is a vampire hunter. Bud gets knocked out, and when he awakens, it is revealed that Seth was bitten and changed into a vampire. Seth charges at Bud, who removes his head, because he has no control over his appetite. Seth's condition is still unstable because he was changed by a uber vampire, but removing his head does not kill him. Bud rushes to his apartment complex in search of Heather, the only person he has placed his trust in. Heather, it turns out, is also a vampire transformed by Audrey, and she and Bud have a brief battle. Heather then discovers that the old vampire Bud killed is actually Audrey's daughter, who wasn't turned until after she got old in human years. Audrey and Klaus transport Jocelyn and Paige to an underground temple lair. Meanwhile, Heather uncovers that Audrey wants to flood the valley with vampires and facilitate them by purchasing property all around the area. Bud, Seth, and Heather travel to an vacated shopping complex and successfully eliminate some of Audrey's hooligans. When they are surrounded, Big John appears and kills many of them with his minigun. Bud and Big John walk underground and discover vampires working in a creation office for Vampire Sunscreen. They get rid of them. In the meantime, Klaus detects Bud's presence and alerts Audrey. Bud and Big John are trapped by a swarm of vampires as they progress deeper into the underground nest, and Big John is bitten. He closes the door behind Bud and tells him that he is free to find his better half and child. With Bud hidden, Big John unleashes his minigun on the approaching vampires and then detonates an explosive from his belt, forfeiting himself and killing his opponents. Klaus confronts Bud, but Heather and Seth burst through the rooftop and tell him to go find Paige and Jocelyn. They begin to fight Klaus, but he effortlessly defeats them in battle. Bud seeks down Paige and Jocelyn and is outmaneuvered in battle by Audrey. Paige slices her in the heart from behind with a wooden stake, just as Audrey is about to deliver the killing blow. Despite the fact that it does not appear to affect Audrey, she snaps it off. She throws Jocelyn and Bud across the room. Klaus has Seth and Heather in a stranglehold, and they combine their efforts to pull his arms off, defeating him. Bud fires his final silver shot of Audrey's neck, the wooden stake still lodged in her heart. Nonetheless, she manages to slip it between her teeth. As she rushes towards Bud to finish him off, he closes his eyes, clearly happy with his impending demise. Regardless, a cutting commotion reveals that Audrey has run into his wire trap, killing her. Audrey is defeated as her severed skull teases Bud one last time. After the last fight, everyone returns higher up, where they encounter a distressed Seeker. As he continues to refer to the Union's guidelines in the hopes of permanently removing Bud, Seth protects him by disqualifying his cases in general. An irritated Seeker informs Seth that he won't be getting promoted to his long-desired position, but Seth tells him that he is now a field guy and will continue to hunt vampires with Bud. Bud asks Jocelyn if he may move back into the house with her and Paige, but she only agrees to put things off as long as Bud gives her clear answers and stops lying. Bud gets a peck on the cheek from her. As the camera skillet to the skyline, Big John is uncovered to be alive, or possibly a vampire, crawling out of a sewer vent and is lighting a blunt. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.